Alright, so I wanted to whip up a quick video here that shows how, for this season only, for 2013, how a regional commissioner running a GRRT, grassroots regional tournament, can enter results into the system themselves if they so choose. There's also the option to just keep a spreadsheet and send me the results, and I'll load them into the system. But if you want to do it yourself, you certainly can. I think it'll ultimately be a little bit more work to do it yourself, but then obviously you have the control over doing it and entering the results when you want, versus sort of being at the mercy of when I happen to get around to doing it. So let's start. Come here and just Bill. I'm gonna actually use your region, the Northwest, to do this. So I'm logging in as you into the system. So I've just clicked on admin up here, which brought me to this page on the grassroots site, and now I'm going into the regional commissioner for the Northwest. So I log in. And then there's really just two steps. The first step is pretty simple. So you'll see that there's this GRRT option over here on the left hand side. First thing you have to do is schedule the GRRT. Right now in the system, it's just considered to be like one huge tournament, and that's kind of one of the things I want to fix with what I'm about to build, like in the next couple months, is that it really shouldn't be considered one huge tournament. It should be considered a whole bunch of little tournaments that like roll up into the big tournament. But right now in the system, there's just like one big monolithic tournament, and so you have to schedule that tournament. And so you just want to schedule one tournament. So you leave this one here as the default. You can leave the frequency alone. It doesn't. The frequency only matters if you choose more than one. And since we're just choosing one here, this frequency, you can just ignore this frequency. You want to choose as the date the last possible date that a regional could be played, which in this case is December 31st, 2013. And the rest you don't really need to fill out. There isn't really a location or a time or a city, right? That's meant more for the local tournaments that are run. So you just click Add New Tournament, and you'll see down the bottom here now we have the GRRT for Region 2 for 2013 scheduled. So Bill, you don't actually have to do this step now because I've just done it actually on the live system. So that's the first step, is to schedule the regional. And then the second step, once you actually get the results, is to go in and enter them yourself if you choose. So to do that, you would click on results. From there, you'll see listed the regional that you just scheduled on the schedule tab. You go in, you click on the name of the tournament, and then you're presented with a couple of options. And this is pretty clunky, which is why I'm happy to kind of do it for you. But if you're able to kind of slog through this, by all means, feel free. You can actually choose to load all active regional players into the results. So if I click here to add additional players, what it'll do is present me a list of every single player that's currently in the region. And let's say you get a packet in the mail, from a particular club having played a regional. You have to then go through this list and check off and find, each of the different players that actually played in the regional. So, for example, I'll just check off these three players, for example. You'd go through and you'd find all the players who were in the region, like for that particular packet that you got in the mail, and you'd check those off, and you'd come down here, and you'd submit that, and then you'd continue. And now you've got those three players who you checked off added to your results your results page. And so if for some reason you accidentally selected an incorrect player, you could just select, oh whoops, they didn't actually play, and you could save it, and that would delete them. And now I'm down to just these two players. And then for the players who did play, you would just go ahead and enter game points, games won, plus points, minus points. The spread is computed automatically, so you don't have to enter that. And then the amount won, that's really up to you, whether you choose to use that or not. That's optional. You can, you probably don't. I guess you don't know until the very end. So it depends, on if at the very end you want to provide that or not. So then you would just enter the results for whichever players you want. You would go ahead and save the results. It gives me a warning in this case because the spread didn't add up, but it let me save it. It just just warned me that the total spread didn't add up to 0. That's going to happen obviously in certain cases when depending on whether they have an even number of players or not a number of players. And so then the results are saved. Then if I log out, and then I come back and I log back in, and I go back to the results, and I go back here, the results that I entered before are still saved. And so then each time you get a new packet with a new set of people having played the regional, you would just go here, click here to add additional players. It lists everyone. Once somebody has played, like once you've entered the results for somebody, they don't show up on this list anymore. This lists only the people who have not yet played in a regional. And so you'd select more people and just kind of iterate through that process with each packet of information that you receive. The thing that gets tricky is that if you need to go back and change something, this list grows and grows, and eventually you've got like a single tournament with 300, 400 results. It can be a little difficult from time to time to sort of get through it all. Then the other thing that I would recommend doing if you're going to do it this way is from time to time you should just click I'm done. The results are complete, even if they're not actually complete. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that, for example, that Javier didn't play. I'm going to save the result. And then I'm going to just get down to where I have one player. And then I'm just going to pretend like the results are complete, even though they're not. Because what this does is run some checks against the database. And that's actually interesting because I have a bug that I will have to fix. So ignore that. But from time to time, it'd be good to just run this check. It'll tell you, if certain players don't have, if they have an expired ACC membership, or they haven't paid their grassroots dues for the year. You can kind of tell some of that stuff in advance of clicking, of waiting till the very end when you're done. So and then once you click I'm done, there's a way to say, okay, I'm not really done, and you can turn it back into this view. So I think that's what's involved. Again, so you can use this, the schedule and results within this system to enter the results, or like I said, you can just maintain a spreadsheet of the information and send it to me periodically or at the end of the season, at the end of the calendar year when the regionals are all done, and I can load the information in. Either way. All right.